Please put your hands together for Miss Dee Dee Bridgewater. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to be directly on the stage. How are you?
Thank you.
It is wonderful to see you. What a surprise to see you here.
I know.
In Sofia.
Well, you were going to be here, so I came.
Have you here for the whole festival?
Yes, indeed. I'll be here till Sunday.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, and this is Daisy, the jazz
Sweet.
dog.
Oh, well,
I'm gonna come, Daisy, come. I don't know, she's confused.
Yeah, we know about Daisy.
She saw too many dogs today in the park, so her brain is on overload. Oh, I can do that.
Would you like the mic? Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Can't you hear me? You could hear me without. So what are we talking about?
Well, I'm talking about Ronnie Scott.
You were talking about, yeah. Ronnie Scott's is like one of the most amazing jazz clubs in the world. And I have had the opportunity of performing there since the shoot. The first time was in the early 80s, yeah. And the first few times that I would perform there was smoking. They allowed smoking in the club. And so I would walk into this club, if you can imagine, and it would just be like a cloud of white smoke. And I would say to Pete and Brian, I can't sing in the smoke. And they're like, oh. And every time I would perform, the first night I could sing, and the second night I'd lose my voice. Yeah. So, and then they would take me to get shots in my bum. I think Brian just wanted me to get a shot in my bum so that I could sing, but I still couldn't. No, okay, so I'm supposed to talk about what? The state of jazz? Jazz in general?
Yes, I think so. Just your feelings about the scene, maybe about or the spirit of the music.
What? Yep. You know, my feelings about the jazz scene are kind of jaded because I've been doing this music. I've been in the jazz scene since I was 20, and I'm 76, so that's 56 years that I've been in the jazz scene. And the thing that concerns me most about the jazz scene, and we experienced it today, is the machoism of it, and the disrespect and the disregard for women. So my band, for all of you to know, is all females, because I have decided that as an elder in the jazz world today, that it would make a stronger statement about how I feel about women in the jazz space if I came on a stage with all women in my band. So something happened this morning. My pianist, who is young, she's 29, came over with my sound engineer because she wanted to practice on piano. And the gentleman running the monitors told her to stop because he didn't want to hear music at 9 in the morning. And she kept playing, and then he came over and was rude. And so when I read this, I had overslept, but when I read this, I said, oh, when I get to the stage, I'm going to speak to this gentleman and let him know what I think about what he did. But when I got to the stage, he was going over to her to apologize because I think he did not realize when she came onto the stage that she was with me. And so I came on and I said hello, and then he went over to apologize because I think he must have felt that I was going to say something. So I think that, this is a very patriarchal industry, the jazz industry, and very, very macho. And so I am about trying to break down the patriarchy in jazz and get the people involved in it, from production people to promoters to whoever is involved, understand that we women are equals to the men, and that female musicians can play as well as male musicians. There should not be any differentiation between us, but it just continues to be the case. But, the patriarchy exists outside of jazz, so I am here, I think, at this stage of my life to represent female power because I refuse to allow disrespect for women. The jazz world has been fraught with all kinds of things. We don't get the same kinds of subventions for our music as, say, the classical world. And we just don't seem to get the respect, on a global basis as our, musicians from other musical arenas, So I am here also to show that this is a music that can be performed by women as we get older. Because what I have noticed as a jazz singer is that female jazz singers are discounted. As soon as we hit like 70, it's like the turn off. Something turns off for people and their respect for women and their abilities as jazz singers. I went to see Dionne Warwick. We were in Rabat, Morocco, and Dionne is 85. And Dionne sat on stage in a chair and commanded the audience just sitting in the chair, just with her voice. And I was watching her. First of all, it was like watching my life because everything she did I knew and I grew up on. But watching the kind of power that she exerted just by her presence. And I thought to myself, wow, I wish it could be like this for all women. So I'm trying to do that same thing in the jazz world. I'm trying to show that we women still have power in our 70s. I'm trying to project to women that they don't have to give life up because we get older, that our bodies do what our bodies do. We can be mindful, but that we still have as much power as our male counterparts. You can have male musicians can play until they die. Stephen Grappelli died on stage. But there is a different kind of respect for the male musician as they get older.
I mean, you've touched on two subjects I'm very close to my heart as well: sexism. We've spoken about that, and ageism.
Yes.
And to my mind and my heart, I enjoy the way that people change as they get older and the stories they have to tell.
Yes.
And even though their voices are different, they're in a way more interesting.
Yes.
They've lived a life.
Exactly.
And it's always the way, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I think, and that's what you hear. That's what you hear in a musician's playing of instruments. But it's also what you hear with a musician who uses their vocal cords. And I was thinking, look, Tom Jones is getting ready to play Juan Lepin in France. And Tom Jones is 89. Now, Tom Jones' voice is not going to be Tom Jones' voice when, I was growing up to Tom Jones. But Tom Jones is going to sell out Juan Lepin because of his history. We get older, Dee Dee Bridgewater gets older, and people are going to be, well, I don't know what she's going to sound like, and I don't know, and so I don't know if I'm going to come. And I think this is the thing that we have to try and dispel.
I agree. And people, promoters and so on, are guilty of, and audiences for that matter, listening with their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get booked the way they look, and I think it's terrible. And it affects probably women more, or has done.
Oh, absolutely.
Historically, yeah.
Absolutely. So if a woman who is a singer, for example, is singing and she's heavyset, she's not going to get the same response as a woman who is thin and put together, and So I learned that, and so for me, when I was growing up, I said I'm not gonna allow myself to become overweight, and I was always very particular about how I dressed because I saw the difference that one gets as a woman if we dress well or if we are more relaxed, you know. And to this day, but also you have to throw in to my ingredient is color. So, colorism, racism, because I have brown skin, but you know, I stopped when they said black. I said, okay, I'm not black, but okay, this is black, I'm brown. But you know, they decided that we are black. But I decided I'm going to stay with that. So when they said African American, I was like, oh, wait, I can't do that one because I'm more than African and American. But I decided that I was going to always dress well because I saw the difference that happens if I go up to a counter and I'm dressed well and I'm wearing clothes that are maybe by a designer that is recognizable, like I come in with my Gucci, you know, my Gucci bucket hat on, you know, I'm wearing Issey Miyake. I'm very careful about my look because I have seen when I go up to a counter and if I stand next to someone who is just dressed maybe in sweats, they will speak to me first because we're so used to that visual. And I've learned the importance of that visual.
Yes, I mean, I remember Dee Dee actually being interviewed. I mean, not just about your look, but actually your views at the time, because we're talking about the 80s now.
Yeah.
And I remember you being interviewed on TV, BBC TV in the afternoon, and it was the band you had at Ronnie Scott's with Clark Tracy. And it was the time, I think, when you did the Billie Holiday.
The Billie Holiday.
And I remember you being, for that time, quite radical. You didn't stand for any nonsense. I mean, that was impressive as a young woman. I wasn't the, Dee Dee was the young woman, not me. But it was refreshing. And, you know, and there weren't many people who got the public platform at that time. And I remember I saw Dee Dee at Ronnie's, and you mentioned about the smoke and so on and having the day off. And I think I remember one of those days off. I saw you perform there, but it was, but presenting yourself. Yes, you've now, as you say, learned that's the way to be noticed.
Well, I learned how to navigate the world at a very young age because, first of all, I had to navigate with my color. You know, when I was 7 years old, my mother gave my sister and I some money to go downtown in Flint, Michigan, where I grew up, to get ice cream. And so I go to this place, and they had a soda counter, and I put my sister up on the stool, and I sit on the stool, and this lady comes over, and then I said whatever I wanted to order for us. And she said, we can't serve you at the counter. And I said, why? She says, because you're colored, because then we were colored. And so colored are not permitted to sit at the counter. So you're going to have to go over there to get your whatever it was, ice cream or soda, whatever it was. And that was the first time that I understood that there was this difference, you know? I grew up in a neighborhood in Flint, Michigan, where I was all black because everyone lived in their own communities. The Mexican lived in their community. The Hungarians, we had a very big Hungarian community in Michigan and Flint, and they lived in their community. The Polish lived in their community. And my mother would go around to all these different communities, take my sister and I with her, and we would eat their food. So I grew up knowing about all these different foods from all these different countries. So when I started touring, I will never forget going to Budapest the first time, and the promoter says, I'm going to take you to have some of our, you know, Hungarian food. And I said, oh yeah, goulash. He says, what? I said, oh, goulash. Yeah, I had goulash all the time. My mother made goulash. Your mother made goulash? I said, yeah. So I learned about all these foods when I was growing up. So I knew, and I was like, my mother didn't even know, but it was like she played into my life, my future, by exposing me to the different cultures at that time. But I forgot my train of thought.
Different communities and also, different cultures around the world, not just the the one you were in,
Yeah.
you had the exposure and have an open mind to other
Yeah.
cultures.
And I think I know what I was trying to get to, Paul.
Yeah.
Jazz is a diverse culture because jazz today is global, you know, and you have great jazz musicians in every country. And it originated with my people. And its origins, you know, came out of the segregation that we had experienced and trying to find our own voice. And we did that through the music. You can jump, Daisy. No, she doesn't. Yes, you do. But today what I love is that I can go anywhere in the world. I can go into any club in the world, and maybe I won't know how to speak your language, but as soon as I hear the music, I can go in and I can sit in and we can communicate. And it's beautiful. So I think it's wonderful that jazz has become global. And, you know, Herbie Hancock with UNESCO created International Jazz Day. So we celebrate the global respect of this music and the love for this music April 30th of every year. And I'm just very happy that I've been able to live through all of the different stages of the music. Now, somebody asked me, I was sitting in a restaurant in Rabat, Morocco, where jazz is not as widely known, accepted, or, you know, appreciated. And a gentleman says to me, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a jazz singer." He says, "Well, what, are you here in Rabat on vacation?" I said, "No, I did a concert." And he says, "Oh, you know, Moroccan people don't like jazz." I said, "Yes, they do. Because they came to my show." And he says, "But jazz is dying." I said, "It's not dying, because I'm here talking to you and I'm not dead." And he says, "Well, I mean, you know, but on a global level, you know, who listens to jazz?" And I was like, a lot of people still listen to jazz. You'd be surprised. And there's a kind of renaissance happening with, what is it, the X generation? What is it? What is this? The young kids, whatever their generation is. Gen Z, thank you. Yeah, we get a lot of Gen Zers, a lot of young people are discovering live jazz and digging it.
They are, that's right. It's funny, in the UK we have Ezra Collective. They've really broken through. And people are going to these concerts not realizing it's jazz, because they're improvising, they're all through it. And it's a great scene.
It is a wonderful scene.
Every country has its own take as well. You go to Norway, they've got their folk music infused into the music.
Yep.
But it still has that source.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to Coltrane and beyond, you know, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there was something to the musicians who were against using the word jazz to categorize our music. You know, like Max Roach was very much against it. More recently, a friend of mine, Nicholas Payton, has really, really fought against using the term jazz. And I think that if we take the label off of it, then more people would probably come.
That's right. We have, you know, once a year we have the Mingus Big Band in there. And I think Charles Mingus as well said, it's Mingus music, it's not jazz.
Yeah, it's not jazz.
Yeah. And that in the UK we had this problem with cultural snobbishness. You know, they say classical music, oh, that's highbrow, then lowbrow, things like jazz and pop and so on.
Yeah.
And we hopefully we're past that, or we're getting past that now.
Well, you know what I appreciate? It's a double-edged sword. I appreciate that in the music festivals that have been known to be jazz festivals. Now the music there's every kind of music at these festivals. I just wish they would take the name jazz off of it and just call it a music festival. But I do also know that if they keep the name jazz on it for insurance purposes, they get better insurance coverage because, you know, jazz, because it's supposedly, you know, this lowbrow music, they're not going to get any kind of rioting and all this kind of stuff at the festivals, and so insurance companies will back these festivals. So that's funny.
It's a very good point, Dee Dee. I mean, in fact, you'll find that A Jazz Festival, I'm not sure if you've been here before, but it's a very safe environment. And we were talking earlier about lack of security. You don't need, bouncers or men in uniform.
Yeah.
People wander in and out. It's lovely. It's a beautiful atmosphere.
I want security.
Oh, have you been
Yes,
here before?
because usually the security guys are built, good looking, and I'm still a woman, and I like men, so I'm like, I need security, please. Help me, protect me, take care of me.
Yeah, I love it. Well, all
I'm
guys,
joking. No, I'm not joking, but
Brilliant. I feel we need to detain you no longer, Dee Dee. I think you've got to get ready or relax before
well,
you...
I have, yeah. Well,
unless you have a few more minutes.
no, listen, I'm going to Tunisia tomorrow. Listen, I travel with this dog. Her name is Daisy, and Daisy is an emotional support dog because I have clinical depression. This means I am depressed every single day of my life. And if I didn't have Daisy with me, I would not get out of bed a lot of times. And because I have Daisy, she says, you got to take me out, you got to feed me. No, but because we're going to Tunisia tomorrow, Tunisia is a high rabies country, and so to come back into the EU after being in Tunisia, I need to have a special shot for her, otherwise they would quarantine her for 3 months. So I'm not taking her. So I'm going to a kennel here in Sofia because I'm going to board Daisy at a doggy hotel. So I've got to go and see what this hotel looks like before I leave her tomorrow. But no, I've been to Sofia. I came here in the 90s, and I saw Sofia and Bulgaria change, when after we lost that separation between East and West, and I've seen the growth of the country, and so I'm really very, very happy to come back here. But this is the first time that I'm doing the festival. When I've come before, I've just done concerts, and they were when I was living in France. Oh, and what I do remember, no, I did come one time during the festival, and I went to a jam session. I had a lot of fun with the Bulgarian musicians, and we drank a lot of beer. And I sang, and I partied. I don't know if those musicians are still here and around.
Well, there's a jam session tonight. If you're around, Dee Dee,
I know, I got to leave early in the morning. I got to leave early, and I'm old. So
you're not old.
I got to get my sleep. No, but, I would like to say to you all, I think it's wonderful that jazz is appreciated here and that the festival gets the support that it does from the government. And it's wonderful to see the festival take place in one of your big, beautiful parks. This is the South Park too? And to see all the families out, and oh my gosh, you all love dogs. You love dogs. She's lost her mind. She hasn't seen so many dogs in her life. She doesn't know where to put herself. But thank you, Paul.
Thank you,
I
Dee
love
Dee.
you, Paul.
It's a real pleasure.
It's always wonderful to be with you.
Likewise. Dee Dee Bridgewater, Miss.
Doing now?
Chat a bit more, maybe.
You're going to chat a bit more?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You are with the best human being. Paul is, I love Paul, but he knows this.
Oh, I love Dee Dee, of course. More than she knows.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Daisy.